All right, moving along here. Thanks, Ed. Next on our agenda for tonight, Mike Sosalla.
I'm innocent.
Yeah, no, you're guilty as charged, sir. And so now you have a gigantic collection of railroad photographs. You're going to delve into a little bit of that tonight, aren't you?
Well, just a little bit, like everybody that's out there, not everybody, but I'm trying to digitize a lot of my photo slide collection and slides, negatives, prints, pictures. Certainly, we all collect a lot of different things. Unfortunately, before I could get these filed away, Mike grabbed me and said he needs somebody to show a few pictures. So we'll help Mike out. I don't know how good it's going to be, but
it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I just know it.
We'll start with where is she? We're gonna turn her on. Open with photos. This is my digital assistant. If you guys start falling asleep, she's gonna punish you and whack you on the arms or on the. A Rock Island motor car. These were built in. I should say a lot of the slides you're going to see today, or images, are going to be passenger oriented. Of course, there's a couple that won't be. These were built as baggage mail cars in 1911 by Pullman. And the Rock Island had converted them by Electromotive Corporation, EMC, not EMD, into these motor cars. And they served throughout Kansas and a lot of the short line branch lines and stuff. I got another picture that's going to show that. This was taken in Council Bluffs in 1961. Here's what they were used for. Short lines or branch lines, pasture service, etc. And this is Kansas, date unknown. This is a Mr. Carl Hinkels, Mr. Roster shot from Chicago, took this in Silvis in 1964. I believe, I don't know if it was done or not, because I've never seen a picture. They were used as power cars for weed sprayer trains on the Rock. And they were in Silvis to be converted for that use. And I don't know if it ever got done or not, but this is taken again, Carl Hinkels, 1964. Oh, there's my arrow. What a beauty. So bad they didn't preserve her. This is Christine. This is a Alco DL109, was repowered with EMD engines as a test. And while it ran okay and ran pretty late into its career in the 60s, and saw several different paint schemes too. But this is taken in Des Moines, Iowa in 1958 with by George Niles. You can see the FP7 leading there, or trailing rather, as one of the many paint schemes that Rock Island used for their pasture locomotives. Where did the thing go? There we go. Okay, we're going to move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is the Lakefront Depot. You have an FM Erie built, which is really, if you look at the sublettering, it's a Omaha engine, Chicago, Milwaukee, Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Omaha. Let's see if we got a date in this one. No date. The trouble with a lot of these photographers, they didn't date their slides, but still an interesting image. You wonder how many times this guy's climbed up in that cab. This is in Fond du Lac. This is a Chuck Porter. Whoops, that was a Chuck Porter shot taken in Fond du Lac. Yep, 1965. Traffic looks pretty good. Lakefront in Milwaukee certainly has changed a lot since this was taken. This portal here is closed off. Of course, the War Memorial is built right here now. And I was surprised at how much fill went into this area, because this is almost all fill. Up at least until that breakwater there. It's all been filled in. 2 E6s pulling a train. Again, not marked. Not marked. As far as date, but it's got to be in the 40s. So Just an interesting shot of how it used to be. This is the sign that was on the depot in Milwaukee, lit up at night. I think I saw it once when I was about 8 years old. I don't know if it moved at all, if it had moving wheels. I don't recall. Just an interesting shot. Also taken by Russ Porter. Shorter train in Sheboygan at the depot. It was 1965 also. Northwestern. Kind of an odd thing, and hopefully if anybody knows about this paint scheme for this E-unit, I have never seen a shot of this ever before with this green. Instead of having green just up to the windshield, they did the whole nose like that. I thought it's a real interesting paint scheme. I'm sure it was a test. But anybody knows anything about this, let me know, or we'll talk about it later. One of the, I think that's a diner, painted for the UP when they're UP or Northwestern ran the city's trains across in their track, which I believe was discontinued, moved over to Milwaukee about 55 or 56. But again, just I've never seen this shot like that before. Painted an E-unit painted like that. Let's do a little Sioux line. Some of it's a little boring, been around, but again, these were just scanned by me to stick in my digital collection. It's Minneapolis, FP7 leading. No date. And again, moving on to the Laker. I believe this is a Dave Ingalls shot. You'll notice on these Laker trains how much head end equipment that they had. And I asked the knower of all that sacred in Sioux Line, our friend Otto Dobnik. He said after the Northwestern dropped its passenger trains to Duluth in 1959, a lot of that head end work, magazines and all that stuff went to the Sioux Line. And that's where all that traffic came from. Quantico, you've seen this before. I believe this is a Bob Fergie shot. And look at nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least that we can count. Again, the Laker and McQuantico. Checking things off here while we. Middle of the train, last baggage car there. And there's a Penzi coach. I'm bringing up the tail end. In Broadville, Illinois, in Chicago. Laker again, lots of heavyweight traffic. That's 1964. On Lake Hill. Again, this is I think it's a Russ Porter slide, 1964, Byron. Look at that ballast. This was a digital image that someone sent me long ago. Steve Glashinsky this is in St. Paul. I think Steve and I both said it was in 1966 or so. This is where the Lakers split, I believe, at Owen. This section came into the Twin Cities. So, and time for a little Milwaukee Road. These are the FP45s when they were brand new in January 1969. Taken in Watertown in 1969 again by Chuck Porter. Since we're on a subject of the Milwaukee, and there's a gentleman named Keon McGarvey took this posted shot, and I don't know how many of you know of this thing that's happened, but this is Friends of the 261 picked up this Milwaukee Road E-unit and created this paint scheme for it. So rather interesting. I thought I had to throw it in tonight's program just so those of you who know it didn't happen and know that this has happened. So very interesting, very interesting. That was taken just in the last month. Okay. Now we talk about, you'll see people's slides or notation in their article. I was there with full PP&E. Well, here's the Milwaukee Road in full PP&E protected in 1966 at the hump yard. If you look close, I think that's his underwear. He's got wingtips on, black shoes. So amazing. 1966. Life was a lot different then. This is in Montevideo, Minnesota. I was on my way back from a WGRF slide get together and stopped in there and seen it. These were the two skytop sleepers. They had a lounge, but they had sleepings that were bought by the Milwaukee for the Olympian and ended up being sold to the CN and just went every direction in the US, went somewhere or another. And these two ended up in Detroit. I think it was Detroit. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, they were on a barge used as a restaurant. Well, the barge started sinking. So somehow or another, they cut the bodies off the frames and hauled them here to the museum in Minnesota. The next shot will show, I think, a regular skytop, what the interior should look like. And they're going to supposedly restore these cars. I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it, but you never know. You never know. Pretty rough, pretty rough. This is the Gold Creek and Arrow Creek, which were their names. This is taken in 2012 when I was passing through there. A little bit of SP here on the tail end. This is the Golden State in Los Angeles. No date. E7's in that scheme, which was a kind of a one-of-a-kind scheme, which they didn't keep for very long. This is east of LA, probably Beaumont Hill, but I'm not sure about that. East of LA. Okay, in 1968, the Pacific Locomotive Association ran this excursion from Oakland to the Sierras. And leading it was one of the Alco DH643 hydraulic locomotives. The transmission, I don't know about the trucks, but the transmission to the trucks was made by Voith, which is a German company. And of course, the engine itself had two 12-cylinder 251 engines, and a very unique locomotive. This is in Oakland, again, May of 1968, taken by Gordon Lloyd Sr. And this is climbing Donner Pass. And I think they said, I was told that they wide the train at Truckee and then they came back down, but that's one of the hydraulics leading. There was only 3 of those hydraulics built. There was another version, 2 other versions that they imported from Germany. I got a picture of one coming up here, so I think, yeah, this is the one. And then the model designation is a ML4000. They built a cab version, F-unit type cab version, car body. And then the second run of these hydraulics from Kraus Maffei was built in this body. Initially, this car, after it left service, was built into a camera car. This whole front was welded off, or torched off rather, and rebuilt with that new nose. They got one of the engines running, but the other one, at least for this particular trip, was not running. So the guys did a nice job in that thing. A very interesting piece of equipment. This is taken 2 years ago. This is probably the Shasta Daylight in Klamath Falls. PAs look nice. Here's something I never seen this unusual, is a icebreaker thing protecting the horn. Never noticed that before in an SP unit, at least on a PA. Washing, giving them a bath in Oakland. No date, no year. Also in Ogden. They sure look nice after they were rebuilt in the, I believe, mid 50s, late 50s. And the Oakland Mole. A lot of interesting views, a lot of things to look at in this photo. Ice reefers here. You got the Cal Zephyrs come in. This looks like a semi-streamlined SP Pacific going who knows where. Here's a UP E2s had those chrome portholes. This is the B unit. Pulling UP train. And then just, I'm sure this is all gone. There's probably nothing there. In fact, I was wondering what is there anymore. So, all right, 1982. They didn't love me on the ENLS in Michigan. And 31 years later, they still don't love me. So that's it, Michael.
Well, excellent. Thank you there, Mike. Excellent, excellent pictures.
I liked it a lot. Something I noticed in that you showed PAs. The one picture, there's no number boards in the numbers in the number board. It was vacant.
I'm not a big SP fan. I just liked the shot and saved it. The trouble with many slides, and I've talked to those of you on this screen here who I know, is people don't mark their slides. They don't mark their slides with dates, with locations. And the Arnie Burkhart, who was a member of this group whose collection I bought, was notorious for not marking anything on his slides.
I'm not related.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
the reason those number boards were vacant is because SP didn't put engine numbers in the number board. They put train numbers in there. So it would have a number like 13 or 9, something like that, depending on what train they were pulling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that I knew. I thought who made the comment said there was none in there. So I didn't know if he was.
There wasn't. They're blank because it wasn't assigned to anything.
Okay. Running as an extra possibly, Mark?
I was just sitting there waiting for assignment.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were talking about the other one. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Anybody else? Mark your slides, mark your images, mark your digital images. Somebody's going to get them. Somebody's going to go, where was this taken? I don't know.
Hold on. Oh, hold on.
Bob, you're feeding back. Gee
There.
whiz, Bob.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, Bob.
No, the Beaumont Hill shot was at Casco.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was a guess. Again, not marked. Okay.
Yeah.
Not marked.
I used to live near there.
I called Gordy Lloyd Sr., who's helped me identify a lot of it's helped me not only pictures in this little presentation, which is very small, but in other ones. And that was his best guess. So I'm sure if you stood in that same exact spot, everything has changed. I was out there, several years ago in that east of LA, and that's really changed there,
We shot the big boy there in 2019.
Did you?
Going the other way though, but
Yeah.
actually right along the tracks there, it's still all groves. It's once
Is
you
it?
get away from the tracks that it becomes houses.
Yeah. So,
Very good. Anything else for Mike? Once again,
Good
thank you, Mike.
stuff, Mike. Good stuff.
thank you.